Good evening, everybody. Hello. Can you just let me know in the chat box if you can hear me? Yes, thumbs up if you can hear me, please. That'll be great. And while we're letting some people in, just a thumbs up in the chat box that you can hear me, or emoji on the screen. You can give direct responses on the talk. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Barbara. Tablet is Barbara. Thanks, Barbara. Awesome. Thanks, Rudolph. Okay, so the sound seems to be working on my side, and on your side it's fine. If you are not muted, please mute your mic. If you have any questions later during the talk, you're welcome to ask, or ask in the chat box as we go along, and I'll get back to it. It's just easier with the streaming that the sound is muted. Okay, you can switch your camera on if you wish, but please just mute yourself. Okay. Lisa, thank you. Alrighty, I'll admit people as they come in. Okay, so tonight, holding on or letting go. What a topic. It's not an easy one to discuss, and it's not an easy thing to go through. But seeing that most of you are on this call tonight, there's probably something in your life that you think you should hold on to, or that you think you should let go. If you can type in the chat box what that is, what do you think you should hold on to, and what do you think you should let go? What is the thing that you're struggling with? And what is the thing that you think you need to let go of, or you think you need to hold on to? Is that a relationship? Is that a financial decision? Is that a business? What is that? Because when we talk about holding on and letting go, there are certain things that you are stuck with, and usually the mind wraps around it. In the last month, usually I have a discussion on a topic that happens in my practice. There were a lot of people that struggled with relationships, where to let go, where to hold on, what to do. And it's usually the biggest thing is holding on to a relationship or letting go of a relationship. But in the chat box, is there anything else that you think you should hold on to or let go that you are struggling with? While we just allow more people to come in here. Should I keep on helping someone that does not prove to take it serious? Working relationship, okay. How to move on after 27 years of being married, okay. All right, so while we just type in the chat box, I'll go through each and every one as we go along. I'm just admitting some more people here quickly. Okay.
Hi, Aiden. Can you hear me? Can you see
Yes,
me?
Tinka.
It's
I
Tinka.
can see you, I can
Hi.
hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, so just mute yourself. If you have a question, type it in the chat box. We can chat after I've answered people's questions. So if you want to have a question answered, we can certainly have a discussion. I'll give you a chance just now. So you can just mute yourself while we're busy. Okay, thanks, Tinka.
Okay.
All right. Right. Oh, seker maar my hier meer laat gaan. So okay, so anger. Let go of guilty consequences. Okay, sure. There's a lot of things that people want to hold on and let go of. All right, that's why this topic is so interesting. Because if I ask 10 people, you can see how many different answers there are. Okay. Now, what happens in the mind if we have the struggle of letting go or holding on? There's a big energy drain there because we don't know what the right decision is. Okay, we had a discussion, I don't even remember, was it this year or last year, about right decisions. How do you know which decisions are right for your life or not? Okay, and this is one of the biggest ones, is what to let go of and what to hold on to. In its purest essence and purest form, everything that you are busy with, everything that you have in your life at the moment, every worry, every stress, everything that you own, all of those things are going to disappear. And what's going to make them disappear? Death. Okay, death equilibrates everything. Okay, it doesn't warn you, doesn't come with a sympathy card, it just wipes it out. Okay, I had a client this afternoon who's actually had a friend that committed suicide last week sometime. And that death is so final. It's like gone. It's like that person is gone. All the worries, all the things surrounding that person, gone. Okay, so it is an awesome reminder to tell yourself that, listen, everything you are struggling with is going to disappear in any case. So now, once you start from that foundation, it is important to ask yourself the question, what is important for you and what is not important for you? Okay. En then Rudolf mentioned besigheidsbesluit wat skeef verloop het en vriendskap wat daaronder gelei het. Oh ja, well, the trust broken. Business and friends do not mix usually. Okay, unless it's a very open and honest and strong relationship between friends. But that's just to do with betrayal. So let's go through the first one. Should I keep on helping someone that does not prove to take it serious, a working relationship? Okay. There's a saying that says not all help is helpful. All right. That's a weird thing to say. How can help not be helpful? Some people do not want help. Okay. They do not want your assistance and they do not want your help. Monica, can you just mute, please? Your mic is on. It's just interfering a bit. So just mute yourself, Monica, please. I can't mute you from here, I think. Okay. So not all help is helpful. So if you're in a relationship where you're trying to help someone and they don't appreciate the help or they don't take your help seriously, right? Then you have to take a step back. And we all try to help. If you care about someone, the most natural thing you would like to do is to help them, right? It's the most simple and most effective thing that you would like to do. Try and help somebody you care about. Okay, but then not all help is helpful. It doesn't come through as help. So then you must ask yourself a question. Somebody taught me that there's only 3 steps to do in any situations. Can you accept it? If you can't accept it, can you change it? If you cannot change it, you have to walk away. So the same thing with someone that you're helping, someone that you're trying to help that doesn't want your help. Can you accept and keep on helping them, either if they don't show it serious? Do you have the energy and the capacity to keep on doing that? If so, yes, fine. If not, can you change it? Can you change them and help them make it look serious or make it feel serious? I doubt it very much. Okay, they have to make that decision for themselves. And then if that is not the case, then you have to pull back. And if it's a working relationship, sometimes it's difficult because it's like all these legalities and all these things that go surround that. But yes, that's what you have to tell your mind and teach your mind to go, okay, but can I accept it? Can I change it? And if not, if the answer is no to those two, walking away is probably the easiest thing to do, okay, for yourself and for your energy. All right, Adna, how to move on after 27 years of being married? Yeah, that's a long time, big part of your life. Okay. First of all, the moving on thing, what does that mean in a physical capacity? What does it mean to move on? You must have a clear understanding of what it is to move on. So is that going on another date, looking for someone else, trying to find your feet, trying to find your independence? Those things you can only answer. But if you want to move on for a relationship that's lasted that long and being married for that long, then it's important to ask yourself what that physically looks like, because there's a reality that we deal with. The mind is going to take all the 27 years, package it up into one thing, make it as huge as all those 27 years. But when you look back, those 27 years, if I ask you to prove how can they exist, how do they exist, all you can probably show me are pictures and speak of your experiences. Okay. And maybe say this is what happened, because your mind lives in the past and it can live in the past, it can remember the past. If I erase your memory, those 27 years of being married won't exist. So those things stay in the mind and they meant something for you. So it'll be good if you ask yourself, what does moving on physically look like? What is the action? How do you know you will start moving on? Okay, instead of how to move on, ask the question of how would I know if I've started moving on? All right. And nobody, at least this is important, nobody can tell you how long you should grieve. Nobody could tell you how long it takes to get over somebody, or some people are like, oh man, just get over it. Just do the next, do the next. Every person's unique and every person's different. They have different coping mechanisms. They have different timelines of dealing with stuff like that, especially after such a long time of being married. Okay, so you can take it step by step and find out what that is for you, right? Especially on the mental drainage capacity. So you don't want your mind to be drained with all the thoughts surrounding the 27 years that's passed. All you can do is make a decision now from here on forwards. Okay, and usually those decisions, if they're based on emotional events in the past, it's a draining thing. It stops you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's go see Anna. No, that was just Anna answered. Seker maar my meer. Oh, holding on or letting go of anger. What does anger serve? There's a purpose that anger serves, right? It's got a purpose, otherwise it won't exist. First of all, are you allowed to be angry? Yes, you are, most definitely. Okay, I find it very funny that grown-ups tell children that they're not supposed to be angry, but then those grown-ups are so angry. I was working in an environment where I was working with children one day, and the two children were in detention because they were fighting. And the teacher comes in and she says, "Yeah, those two were in detention because they were fighting. I feel like I could take their heads in and bash it against the wall." And I'm like, "What?" So the teacher wants to reprimand them for violence, and then she says those words. And I'm like, "Oh man, we forget what we say. It's such an autopilot. We don't watch our words and we don't watch our actions." Okay, so anger is relevant, it's valid. You're allowed to be angry, but unfortunately, it serves no purpose whatsoever than to make you upset. You can be angry at the world, angry at your partner, angry at anybody, but if you're so angry, it only affects you, it doesn't affect the other person. We want to. So the purpose is probably to have the other person understand what you're going through and be angry and maybe go through that cycle. But anger, it's a difficult one to let go of. So a good way to start of deciding whether you want to hold on to anger or letting go of it is to ask yourself, what is the purpose of your anger? What are you trying to communicate with your anger? What is it that you want the other party to know via your anger? Is it the disappointment? Is it the hurt? Is it the frustration? And then give those things that you think you needed from the other party, give it onto yourself. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. These are letting go of guilty consequences. It's a bit vague one, but guilty consequences, probably guilt. Okay, letting go of stuff that you've done that you feel guilty for is what I can maybe get out of this message. All right, if you feel guilty over things, we spoke about the vibrational energies, and I think I mentioned that book, Power versus Force, in one of the previous Sagacity Sundays. I think it's on my YouTube channel, that one. But yes, if you feel guilt, it's an energy draining emotion. It's not an energy building emotion. Okay, so you can't build energy with guilt. And the biggest awakening I've ever had was to observe nature and to find guilty in nature. Right. When you look at animals, do they feel guilt? No. Maybe the domesticated animals do, like our dogs. You can see they feel guilty when they're upset. When you reprimand them. Cats, not so much. Okay, I don't think cats, I don't think they have an ounce of guilt in them. But dogs do feel guilty. But other animals, there's no guilt in nature. Okay, we have guilt. And the guilt is only there and it only stays as long as it takes you to learn the lesson to get back to your own self. And if you think of it, all the people that you meet in your life, all the actions that you're doing, everything that you are going to experience still and have experienced, there are certain things that we learn from it, right? And we forget to be in awe of the learning of the lesson. So if you are carrying a lot of guilt, first thing is what you can do, and sometimes you can do this with a person, sometimes you can't do this with a person, is to actually talk to that person and tell them how sorry you are and explain exactly what you think you are guilty of. Sometimes it's not possible because the relationship is so broken down that you cannot communicate with another person. That's fine. Then you just write it for yourself. So understand what you are guilty for. Okay. And the thing that the consequence was, say, for instance, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Gandhi's film or Gandhi's biography. It was actually quite amazing, where they had the Hindus and the Muslims fight. And this one, I think it was a Muslim guy, walked up to him and he was so upset and he was so angry. And Gandhi asked him what was wrong. And I think it was the Muslim guy that said he killed an Hindu child in the wars and in the arguments, and he just couldn't deal with that. So Gandhi told him, well, go find an orphanage and the effect of this war and people who were orphaned in the war, find a Hindu child and raise the child as a Hindu. So for that Muslim guy to raise the child as a Hindu is almost like saying to a Christian father, let's raise this child as a Satanist. That's how different the religions are and how strongly they hold on to their religion. Can you imagine? Okay, so it is nice to find out what you were guilty of and then just pay it forward to someone else and try and fix it that way. That will lessen the guilt. But I think it's a big, big human construct, the guilt thing. And I think it's programmed into us since we were young. If you do this, this is going to be the consequence. Blah, 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 blah. All the emotional blackmail that goes with it. I hope that answers your question, Teresa. Rudolf, besigheidsbesluit wat skeef verloop het en vriendskap wat daaronder gelei het. Ja. So when trust is broken in business, and if a business, can you, all of you that sit here, okay, I've asked this question before because it's important to ask it yourself. Can you be 100% certain or that the choice you are making is the right one? No way. You cannot make it 100% certain. So don't reprimand yourself when things like that go wrong. Don't reprimand yourself when friendships are moving apart because of decisions that were made, because you are still learning and growing and you are doing everything. We cannot be perfect. Perfection only happens on social media. People don't show you the other stuff on social media. So we are bombarded with it, stuff that are perfect, success and this and that. Oh man, it doesn't work that way. Okay, it goes up and down. If you made a business decision that was wrong and it affected other people, that's okay. It happens, right? If you did it on purpose, okay, then you must go ask yourself why you did it and what you're trying to do. And usually, if you make the wrong decisions, it's something that goes against your value systems. Okay, I'll get back to that just now as I just finish these questions. Children, you are so many people complaining about their children. Oh, okay. So if people complain about their children, what are they actually trying to say, you think? Hmm? If they complain about children and my child does this and that and that, okay. If people complain, they are trying to communicate something to you that's happening on the inside of them, not actually what the actions of the other person was. If you see something bad happen, and I go, wow, this person abused this long time ago. Okay, I was watching, I live in Pretoria, and in the Afrikaans community, there was this guy that owned a second-hand car dealership. And I can't remember, this was quite a couple of years ago, but he beat up his girlfriend at his car dealership and they showed it on camera. And I freaked. It flipped me. Yes, I was upset. I'm like, how the hell can he do that? Right? How can he beat up a girl like that? That got to me. And then I realized that anger, that frustration, I wanted to freaking do something about it, but that went against my value system. That's why I got triggered because that doesn't make sense to me. Why can you beat up your girlfriend like that? And she was small, man. He was big. It was just it was not nice to see. So if people are complaining about certain things, somebody has ventured over their value system line and they need to tell people about it because for them it's traumatic. Okay. And if people complain a lot, what happens to your own energy if you're surrounded by people who complains a lot? Have you ever picked that up? If people are just complaining, it is draining, it is tiring because people are complaining the whole time. It's not nice. So if they are complaining about the children, a good question to ask is, so what can you do about it? You give them those three options. Okay. You can either accept it, change it, or walk away. Then they go, huh? Then it doesn't give them a reason to complain anymore because there are only three options to do. But we love complaining. And if people complain too much in your space, it is up to you to set the boundaries and say, okay, enough is enough. I can't handle this anymore. Maybe we meet once a week instead of every day, and just make them aware of what the effect the complaining has on you. Okay, they're not complaining. Just tell them this is the results. If you're going to keep on complaining in my space, if you're not accepting the help or just accepting what I want to give to you, this is how it's going to go. We're going to have to part ways. Right? Difficult thing to say, but a worthy thing to say for your own energy and for your own boundaries. Right. Abusive relationship. Holding on and letting go, abusive relationship. That's another interesting one. You know, in my practice, I've had so many people coming in with abuse, and most of the time, there's a pattern of the person that they attract in their life. And I have to pick up that pattern and tell them, but listen, this relationship from 1, 2, and 3, what were the similarities? Oh, this and this and this. I'm like, but can you see the pattern? There's a pattern here that you are building and you are repeating. Why do you think this pattern is repeating? Then only can you start to go and take yourself out of it and go, but why am I doing abusive relationships? And you'll be amazed that some people find it more comfortable to live in an abusive relationship because that is what they've known their whole life, and that is what they think is normal, and that is what they think they'll stick to, so they cannot let it go. That's a weird mindset, but it's the mind's safety mechanism. Because if something feels comfortable to you, you know at least how to handle it. Okay, something feels safe to you, even if it's not safe, you know how to handle it. Right. Some people think love is being shouted at because the other person cares for you. That's why they shout it. I'm like, how the hell? Who likes being shouted at? Nobody likes being shouted at. We don't like it when people shout at us. How is that an indication of love? All right. So, yes, if you want to let go of an abusive relationship, maybe see what the pattern is, what the abusive relationship is bringing to you, where you feel comfortable in it, and then it will be easier to let go in the future. But it's difficult because your own mind is your biggest enemy. Your own thought processes, those are your biggest enemy. And if you're comfortable in a situation where abuse is happening, you must go ask yourself, why are you comfortable? And then go and actually, yeah, maybe just have a little, what comparative study we call it, of what people think abuse is and what people think love is. And then see how people treat each other that's in love or how people treat each other when there's abuse. So the mind can make sense of it that that is not normal. And that's not what you actually want to sign up for. Okay, I hope that answers that question. Linda, it took me 8 years to get out of an abusive relationship. Yeah, for sure. And it's especially difficult if the person that's the abuser has got control over every aspect of your life. What do you do then? Where do you go? Because no financial support, no familial support, isolation, they've got you, and now what do you do? Okay. But I have worked with people and seen people that actually started and slowly started taking their power back. So well done, Linda. 8 years is a long time. But again, guys, it doesn't matter how long it takes to learn a lesson. If we think of the universe in a universal scale, what does time matter? If we go off this planet, we see everything that happens outside of this planet. The more we travel into the universe, the less time matters. It is insane how time just gets distorted. Okay. So we make it urgent. So if it takes you 8 years, if it takes you 10 years, if it takes you 20 years, 6 months, it doesn't matter. But every little win that you have, congratulate yourself for it. Every little awareness. Most people don't even know that they're in an abusive relationship. Like I said, they think it's normal. All right. That's the scary part. Okay. And yeah, I feel your pain. Yeah, sure. And I'm sure there are certain similarities here. Okay. So please take a moment. You are not, there isn't actually anything that's holding on. If you dig in the subconscious level, if I go open your brain and ask, what's the part of you that's holding on? We won't find that part that's holding on. So if nothing is holding on, what's the letting go about? We are getting bombarded with that saying, should I hold on or should I let go? Yeah, okay, what does that mean on a physical level for you? What is the holding on part? Go question it so you can get back to a sense of yourself. Okay. Linda, exactly. Took my power back. I financially supported this guy. And yes, it became the new normal. Yeah. Yeah. And Linda, I hope this question, but if you go back, you knew from the beginning that something was off. Okay, and it was going against your value system. For instance, in a lot of questions I ask, I go, but did you know something was wrong? Yes, some people on their wedding day know something is wrong, and then 20 years later they said they knew on the wedding days, but they didn't listen to that voice, and now they're stuck. Usually that voice is your value system and a conflict that's there. For instance, if you don't like bullies, let's take bullies for instance. Somebody's a big bully and you meet someone and you see them bully someone else, but they treat you like a queen or like a king, or they treat you with amazing respect, but they still treat somebody else and they bully them. What does that tell you? Your value system will go, wait a minute, ooh, this is maybe a bit off, but people don't listen to that. Okay, so you can have the nicest person, but if the person is so nice and they bully someone else or treat someone else like dirt, what do you think is their real value system if they do that? So if you don't listen to the value system, if there is a conflict in the value system, then usually in future it comes back and slaps you in the face. It goes, hey, you should have listened here. Bah, and you're like, ah, shucks, you should have listened here. Okay, that's not abnormal. But if you've done that, congratulations. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay. And I think the awareness of your situation is the most crucial thing you can bring. So if you want to hold on to something, good reason, why would you want to hold on to it? Some people hold on to abusive relationships because of finances. Okay. In this case, you were supporting him, but the vice opposite is true. Some people stay in relationships because they have no other choice. Where do they go? What freedom would they have? What can they do? So they start to make plans, okay, to escape that situation. Okay, I kept on going back until my son gave me a choice. That rattled my cage. Same day, told the guy to move out. Oh, nice. It's brave of your son that he gave you a choice, Linda, but well done. Okay, tablet, Barbara. If they treat you nice and others bad, it means most likely they need something from you. For sure. For sure. Okay. It's like, okay, if you treat me nice, but you treat other people like crap, they probably need something for you. Then, here's an interesting question, Barbara. If they treat you nice and they most likely want something for you, will you give it if you know it's that's what they need from you and still give it, even if they treat other people badly or not? Because my whole practice evolves around helping people make decisions in their own value systems. If that means you want to go out, you want to be a bully, but you must know the consequences of that and you want to live with that, go for it. Okay. If that means you want to be a good person, you want to have ethical or moral values and you want to go with that, that's also right. Know the whole, get the whole picture. Because nobody can really tell somebody else what to do. It's a nightmare. People try all the time. They want to do all the time. They want to fix people. No, 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 no. Be informed. Okay. But the only way you can have that informed decision is by knowing yourself completely. All right. That saying of know thyself goes way deeper than we think. Okay. If you know yourself, you'll know what to stay away from. You'll know what gives you energy, what drains your energy, and that'll be way easier to make decisions then. I walked away. I can't handle bullies. Yes. Good. All right. But if you can't handle bullies and you keep on walking away and don't set healthy boundaries, most likely more bullies will show up until you learn how to stand your ground neutral. Doesn't mean you have to fight. Just have to mean you have to put in boundaries that's specific towards you and keep you safe. Okay. And people think, oh, but now I have to fight. I have to do. No, no, no. You can be very calm, but set boundaries very calm because you are worth more than that. Okay. You are worth setting in boundaries. There's a worth in you just by being born on this planet, which is a funny concept to most people. Okay, if we practice it that much. Excellent. Okay. I think I covered everything that was in the question. If there's any more questions while I finish up, because I see our time is almost up again. 30 minutes goes by quickly. Remind yourself that holding on to anything is not a realistic thing to think about because everything is going to disappear from your life. And they've got I think it's a Buddhist practice. So one of the practices you have to wake up and die a little every day. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? We're dying in any case. But it means you have to imagine that that day that you're going to die, these things that you hold on to, are they worth it? They give you peace. Okay. Will they give you energy? Or are they draining you? Can you die to the old self and bring a new self to the front? Because every day you have a chance to be a new you. Okay, to not fall into your patterns, to not give in to all the people's requests or to the bullies or whatever that is. Okay, so if you can do that, then you can actually have a bit of an awakening. All right. Teresa het groot verkeerbesluit gemaak en het goed gedoen wat groot impak op familie gemaak het en uit skuldgevoelens hou ek aan. Wow. Guilt. All right. Daai skuldgevoelens. Sjoe, dit is trainerend. Okay. Almal maak foute, almal maak verkeerde besluite. En as iemand jou heeltyd aanhou herinner van jou verkeerde besluite en aanhou wil hê jy moet skuldig vir jou verkeerde besluite, is hulle manipuleerders. Okay, dit werk nie so op hierdie planeet nie. All right. So if we make bad decisions and there's a huge impact for our bad decisions, it costs people their lives. And there are people that make bad decisions that cost other people their lives. Not even make them feel bad. Okay, as in they die, right? So if you have made a bad decision that had a huge impact on somebody else, that's okay. But if you keep on following the same pattern because of guilt, that's never going to end well. It's not going to end well for you, not end well for the other person, not end well for communication, energy levels. All right. So it's not that you have to punish yourself the whole time. All right. Okay. Excellent, guys. So 3 things reminding yourself of when you want to make a decision of holding on or letting go. Can I accept it? Can I change it? If not, I should walk away. Okay. In the end, you are holding on to nothing. Sadhguru actually said it the other day. I don't know if you guys follow Sadhguru, but it's amazing the stuff he comes up with. I love him. It's just so amazing, his talks. He said, you are born onto this planet with nothing. You're always in a surplus. Even if you lie next to the road and you have no food, but you've got clothes on your back, everything around you is there. It is a surplus. You were born with absolutely nothing, being totally helpless on this planet. And I'm like, oh, that took me a while to get my mind around that. But that's such a nice image to have. We were all born helpless into this world without anything, without clothes, okay, without food, without someone to, well, if somebody didn't take care of you, you probably would have died when you were a baby. So somewhere along the lines, there was a support system if you're still here. That bigger support system you need to tap into and just be aware of it. Okay, if you can calm the mind, if you can sit still for just a little bit and tap into that bigger support system and the bigger picture, then you will find it easier to let go of things. And then you'll find it easier to recognize that nothing is actually holding on. It's just memories and emotions that's doing the holding on. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because that's a difficult thing to try and wrap the mind around, but it's a possible thing to do. All right. Excellent. All right. Linda, thanks, Erin. Now think twice before making relationships. Yeah, perfect. Whether it's a business relationship, personal relationship, and just surrounding relationships. You are in relationship with everything around you. Where you show up, you have a relationship with anything. Okay. So relationships are all over you all the time. Okay. So go think about that one. All right. Rudolf, dankie vir die goeie advies. Land Rover het te lees. One life live it. One life life it. Ja, seker one life live it, Rudolf. Maar ja, verseker. Dankie vir hierdie dag. Jy het my antwoord gegee wat ek môre in plek gaan sit. O, okay, awesome. Baie dankie. I'm glad it helped. Okay. And if you make decisions surrounding these things, please, I don't know, but if you guys get older, most of the time, when people get older, they know their time becomes less on this planet. They want more peace. It's the only thing that they ask for is peace. Okay. In fact, a lot of people who get older, if you ask them, if you give them a magic wand and say, I can give you all the money in the world or peace, what would you choose? People will choose peace. Okay, because that's what we want, that's what we need. And if you take this and play with the mind a little bit, like I just explained in this talk, you'll have a way more peace and set way more healthy boundaries for yourself. Teresa, dankie het gerusstelling gekry. Ons ek baie bly, Teresa. I'm so glad got something out of this. Thank you for joining me again. The next month or so, I'll keep updates on the group, but I've started our training again for our organization. And there's so many interesting things coming up. I'll share them on the group with you, but that just means my time is going to be a bit limited because the training is usually over weekends, but I'll keep you up on the group when the next Sagasti Sunday is going to happen. And then, as usual, if you have any questions, you can contact me directly on my number. My number is on the group. I specifically keep the Sagasti Sunday group, not a chat group, because it can go haywire. But you're more than welcome to ask any questions directly on my WhatsApp number if you feel the need to do so. Thank you again for joining me, Erna. Baie dankie. Ek is bly it was insightful. Now go apply it, go enjoy it, and remember, there is nothing that you can hold on to forever. So appreciate the things that are actually energizing you. Okay, may you have a wonderful evening and have a peaceful evening. All right. Good night, everybody.